let's go on to the second part, which is the swing. Really important, the difference between your normal or regular ground strokes and a return to serve, it is compact, okay? Say it again, it's compact, it's really small. You have to make sure that your return of serve swing is much smaller, especially when you have a good server. You're not gonna have the time, okay? Because you gotta think about it. From a strategic sense, the return to serve is a defensive ball, okay? Especially on the first serve, because I don't know where my opponent's gonna hit it. They can go out wide, they can go down a tee, they can go down my body. I don't know. So it's kind of a guessing game. There's some things we can talk about as far as anticipating, but I don't know. So it was a little bit of a guessing game, so I'm playing defense. Even though I'm coiling and I'm potentially trying to play some offense if I have the time or the ball to do it, most of all, I'm trying to get this ball back into the court, okay? So it's really important that we don't have big swings, because if you have a bigger swing when you're trying to do this, you're gonna have the ball catch you behind, or catch the ball behind you. So what I recommend is, first of all, when we're sitting here in this ready position, especially for a first serve, we wanna lower your racket tip, okay? The reason why I wanna do this again is because a first serve isn't gonna bounce that high. Most players with a big serve are gonna hit a big bomb, flat, it's gonna skid off the court. So if your racket tip's up here and you take the racket back and the ball's landing here or bouncing here, well, now look what I have to do. I have to get the racket to come all the way down here. That takes time. Usually you're not gonna make it, and you're gonna find yourself having to open the racket face and chip it back. Compared to if I take the racket back or keep the racket lower, when I take the racket back, now I don't have all that time that I'm gonna waste by taking the racket down. The racket's gonna be behind the ball and I can just pull it through, okay? So let's get to the technical side of the swing. It's really important that basically your swing is just a unit turn, okay? So I'm gonna go over what the unit turn is. I look at the unit turn as using my upper half as a spring, and I'm pushing against my lower half. So if I take my body and I'm coiling up like this, I'm taking my shoulders, I'm just gonna rotate my shoulders over. You can see how my bottom half didn't move, okay? It creates tension in the core. Same thing on the backhand. Creates tension in the core. Same thing on the one-handed backhand. Creates tension in the core. This is what you're going to use to really pull the racket forward into contact. It's really important to create this tension. Now, the job of the server is to hopefully kind of throw you off, so you might be guessing one side and you're trying to go and you get confused and stop. But your job is to make sure, no matter what, we're really watching, focus, and we pick, don't guess, we pick what side we're going to get the ball coming to. That way, we can have a good unit turn here. Now, in the sense of combining the unit turn with the swing, if I'm waiting here, I'm gonna split, okay? Take that outside leg, and when I take the step on the outside leg, this is when I'm doing my unit turn. Now, when I'm doing my unit turn, you can see my swing is very abbreviated and low, okay? I'm keeping my swing very small, okay? Whether it be a backhand or a forehand. If I'm doing a backhand, same thing, just the unit turn. I haven't done the swing. So the difference between this, just a unit turn, and then I'm gonna uncoil forward into the contact, compared to unit turn, swing, okay? And then usually you catch the ball late. So that's the second part. The third part is the racket face angle, okay? It's really important to, no matter what, that once we go split step, unit turn, we're focusing on getting the racket face angle going slightly up and through the ball. Now, as far as follow through, okay? Once we got that great racket face angle coming up, we're adding a little spin. The follow through sometimes depends on the type of ball you get. You see sometimes when service get a really hard ball that you got to understand that we're taking a lot of pace, and if you try to match pace, meaning that you're going to take the force of the ball and try to go through it, sometimes that just doesn't work. So you see a very abbreviated finish with a lot of pros sometimes. You see them doing the unit turn, they're doing a step, and you see them kind of go boom, and the racket goes through the ball, and it's kind of delayed finish, okay? You see a lot more of players where they're going boom, okay? That was a little open stance, but you see them going here, and you see the swing almost stop here, depending on how big the returner is, because if we try to go all the way through it a lot of times, we may add too much pace. Now, it's really important that you understand that how we're gonna penetrate the ball during the swing. I'm not going straight on through the ball. If you watch a lot of slow-mo clips of Roger Federer, he's going here, short swing, and you can really see how he's almost absorbing the pace and just blocking the ball back. You can see how the tip of the racket isn't going so forward. It's going hit, and he's just adding a little spin and blocking the ball back. What you do see is that short, nice little blocking the ball back finish, and you see him trying to really manage his racket face angle. So many times where you see Roger Federer, he's just going boom, short swing, boom, okay? And he's in the point. Compared to when he might get, let's say, a serve that's a little bit slower, then you start seeing him going here, here, and he's trying to add something to the return, okay? So it's so important. Let's go over all three of those points again. Having a nice wide base, okay? Being on the balls of your feet, nice and bent, staying low, keeping the suspension low, having the split step, the timing, okay? Let me go over the timing. So, as your server steps up to the line, okay, and you see them going through this motion here, and when they're almost about to make contact or making contact, that's when you should be landing, okay? We don't want to, when they're making contact, we don't want to start the split step. When they're about to make contact, this is when we're landing, and when they make contact, that's when we make the decision of what side we're going to hit, or which forehand or return we're going to hit, whether it be a forehand or backhand. It's really important, the timing. If you mess up the timing, you're going to be late. And that's why it's so important that you're focused on them going through the motion, hit and split your landing, okay, when they make that contact. You're here going split and then outside leg. Second part, making sure we have this nice small unit turn here, whether it be a forehand or backhand, small swings, keeping the racket nice and low, okay? Third, making sure that we're making that contact with the right racket face angles, not too open, not too close. We don't have time, so we want to make sure it's right here. We're just using the pace on the ball. Again, this is a defensive shot on the first serve return. We're using the pace of the ball. If it's the second serve, you can start adding more pace, okay? And then finally, the finish, where we're just basically using the pace on the ball, coming around. Now, make sure you go out and practice this stage by stage. So the first thing I would practice if I was you, is going out and just practicing the footwork, getting used to just going split, outside leg, lunge, okay? I do this about 20 times. Split, okay? Same thing on the backhand, split, okay? Until you feel really comfortable doing it. Then I start adding in a little bit more of my racket, okay? Split, unit turn, okay? Split, unit turn, okay? Then I would just have somebody practice either serving to me, or you can have somebody stand right here and just toss you a ball, and all you're trying to do is go split, block, okay? Not trying to add a lot of pace. Split, 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 block. I'm using my legs for the pace, okay? So make sure you go out and practice that stage by stage. This is the way you get a solid, great return of serve, okay? So go out, play tough, practice this, and let me know if you have any questions. This is Kevin Garlington from TotalTennisDomination.com.